Honourable Speaker, I think with respect, our senior colleague, Honourable both, should not try to short-circuit members. Look, you have said, right, Honourable Speaker, that the budget process is meant to be a consultative process. We actually agree with you. That's why we are raising concerns to ensure that that whole consultative process gets to happen. Yes, Rule 17 provides for suspension of rules because nothing can really be cast in stone. But we are saying this budget process, the tax bills that we are passing, have got heavy sounding ramifications on everyone here, on the population out there. And that's what we are saying. Can we handle it prudently? I am dismayed that the government chief whip, number one, did not whip his ministers to be available when the committee needed them in good time, did not whip his members to make sure they're available for all of these processes to get to happen. Because if a committee is saying, Minister of Finance will require you to be present, and all the ministers are saying, we are not available, we are in Washington, D.C., what was the emergency about being in Washington, D.C., as opposed to being before the Finance Committee and all the other relevant committees to pass a budget that you are saying and acknowledging is very critical? So the exculpation, right, Honourable Speaker, of time, what you're giving as an excuse of time, please give us another reason. Because time should have been managed properly thus far. We knew about this budget. There's nothing that has happened under the sky that has caused us to be in such a hurry. We knew that there was going to be an election. It was going to run up until a particular time. We knew about this budget process. So the excuse of time, right, Honourable Speaker, no, let's find another reason so that the people who are watching us out there know that we take our work seriously. That as we were planning for the election, we're also planning for the budget process. As we were planning for all those other engagements, we knew about this particular budget process, critical as it is. So can we get another excuse as opposed to time? Honourable Speaker, Honourable Duru wanted to give me some information, and if you allow, the Finance Committee head will also give information.
Let me hear from the chairman.
Thank you. Right Honourable, first of all, I would like to convey my message to my brother who recently lost a close relative, and I wasn't able to come and be with you in my constituency. So
it's your constituency?
He has relatives there, and he's my friend. So he lost an auntie who is a family friend, so I was passing on a message that I wasn't able to be with you. However, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I wanted to put it on record that whereas it is true that the ministers were engaged in other government activities, we were able, in the circumstances, to share with them the concerns. And that's why we are not in disagreement. Whether they were absent, so we were able to share emails, and they forwarded all these issues.
But you had the technical people.
Yes, it is on file.
The technical people were there. Honourable members, we have a pending question. We have a pending issue on Honourable Obua. We are going to discuss, we are going to discuss this the whole day on this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your indulgence. I'm just debating the motion by the government chief whip, suspending, and my debate is totally in opposition to his submission. First of all, I dismiss his explanations that time, and this is my submission, that we are caught up by time. I want to draw his attention that rules are not read in isolation. The spirit behind enactment of a rule, and for the case of Parliament, it is not just the rule. Our rules of procedure is an equivalent of that act of Parliament. We just use the wording, the rule, for purpose of guidance, because it is Parliament directly that enacted those provisions. So the first point is, how do we then sit here? The people who proposed and wrote it, that this rule should apply, are the ones seated here. The reason I want the government chief whip to help me, how do I then know that in the committee These are what transpired. For me as a legislator to take a decision. How do I know what Uganda Manufacturers Association submitted? How do I know what the Casita submitted? When you just lay the rules here and then the minutes and then you ask me to debate. The 3 days was to allow me, a member of parliament, to reflect on those. So we should not just wish it away because we are rushing. 2, I would like to reply. Suppose the president, after we have passed this bill, the president, like he has disagreed in the past, asked parliament and said, I disagree with this provision, parliament must pass it, and this parliament is not sitting. The next parliament will come. So it is not true that it is only strictly the 11th parliament must be rushing to do the thing. We can pass it today, send it to the president and say, I disagree, take it back, and another parliament will be here.
Honorable Jana, what is your suggestion then?
My suggestion was, let all the reports be laid today. We received. That's why when they were presenting both majority and minority, I didn't object. And then time be given for us now to interrogate. Because if I ask, can we all photocopy these minutes here? They are not on the iPad. We cannot. So that we are allowed, I go to the library, I look at it, I interrogate it. When I come here, I can now support the government position of moving from 150 to 250 with the knowledge that it's coming out of a study that has been done. Or I can reject the 500 by minority because I see they don't have a strong basis for it. So, Madam Speaker, I propose.
I have 2 questions now. I will have a question for Honorable Obua on suspension of roles, and then I will have a question on suspending this session. I will have a question on suspension of the House for the House to be able to accommodate the 3 days. Is that okay? Is that okay? No. Jared has moved a motion. You're also going to move a motion and I will put a question. Okay? I am putting a question subject to Rule 17 on suspension of rules, that Honorable Obua has moved a motion that we suspend Rule 14, Sub-Rule 214, Sub-Rule 14, and Sub-Rule 15 for the House to proceed with the tax bills. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Odur. Honorable members, I wish I could advise you.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I wish I could advise. We have the reports here. We have the minority reports here. You have the goodwill to debate on everything. The people who pay taxes are us. Me and Honorable Nandala, we own a petrol station together. So when we are talking about this thing, we are all business people. So we are mindful of the taxes out there. So let's discuss this and come to a middle ground, because it also affects us. It affects us. And we are looking at what effect it has on the population out there.